What's up, everybody? This is Behavior Code Podcast. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD. I'm interviewing a real martial artist, Jordan Damari from around Phoenix, Arizona. He's an ordained monk in the IMC Shapeshifting Warrior Monk Brotherhood. And I am also. So we're interviewing each other about this topic of Beast Camp. And in particular, I wanted to talk about, it was a very interesting teaching he gave on words. And that phonetically, it's very similar to ward, like to ward off something. So words is wards. And because Jordan's a martial artist, I was going to pick his brain about, that perspective on words. And of course, his training with the Rosh Bazaar. So what's going on with you, brother? How you doing today?
Doing great, brother. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on again. It's my second go around, so it's a pleasure to be back. I'm doing great, man. I am just leveling up every single day. One of my favorite parts of the day is, starting the day with the beast routine and going through all of that and, carrying that throughout the rest of my day as well. So I'm loving that part. How are you, man? How's everything?
Howard, man, life's a fantasy here. So I could go into it. That's why I'm interviewing you, because I talk a lot about myself. I'm curious, when you say carry it through your day, what does that mean? How do you do that?
Yeah, really carrying the energy is what I mean. So I create such a high level of energy for myself in the morning times when I'm doing my beasting routine. And then what I do is throughout the day, every now and then I'll do like push-ups or sit-ups. I do what I can while I'm, at my job, of course. But then when I'm off again, then I'll do some kind of routine as well. So whether it be push-ups, sit-ups, squats, burpees, anything of that sort, I like to continue the energy and tap back into that same energy I was tapping into in the morning time. So
that's interesting. So are you saying that you generate energy in your morning beasting? It sounds like that's what you're saying, that you do. What is beasting then? Like what would distinguish that for audience members, people that catch this on YouTube or Spotify? They should be subscribing for sure. All the freeloaders should be signing up for my silent flute training program on ninthlimb.com. But if you were, what is the difference between calisthenics or working out and beasting?
Yeah, beasting, there's a like you said, like I said initially, was creating that energy. So creating such a flow of energy that you carry, like I said, that you carry along with you throughout your day. In particular, adding the spirituality and the spiritual practice to it. That's the best part, is you add different elements. So I do, different parts of my rituals, or adding the practice of journaling in the mornings, or really just finding different ways to express what's happening in the calisthenics, which is, like I said, mustering up the energy and creating that energy to carry throughout your day. So finding different ways to do that, along with the working out and the training and the calisthenics and all of that, because that's just one aspect of it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that just do calisthenics, but those guys don't, necessarily have the beasting aspect. So it's more so of a mindset, I guess, prepared along with it as well. So that's
the mindset. Are there any things about the mindset, your mindset, when it comes to beasting, that makes it separate from regular old training that you could share with us?
Yes, there are. So with my mindset, I approach it differently. Well, what AZD has taught us to do is tap into our animal spirit, our animal totems, while we're exercising and whatnot. So really tapping into what that energy would be like if I was, whatever animal or what have you, and tapping into that while I'm beasting out brings out a different, that's what brings out the beast, I would say. Ultimately, that's what that practice, leads into. So does that answer the question?
Not really. I was trying to get to what are some, maybe it just went over my head. Maybe I missed it, but what is the animal totem? I get the idea of the animal totem, and that's really unique, right? Maybe just go more into that. Like, what does that mean? Like, I could imagine a normie guy that looks like Trent Lara, like he's a beast, but he's a normie guy somewhere out there, or anybody that's like, in the normies, like, what does that mean, an animal totem? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, good question. The animal totem is just, the idea of the animal spirit. So the animal spirit, taking on that spirit, really seeing the spirit as if it were exercising, or kind of like personalizing that animal and allowing that animal to be, who, like, kind of blending with that animal is the best way I can
Yeah.
phrase it. Yeah. So yeah, channeling that spirit in particular. And so in particular, so for example, I guess, with me beasting out, what I often channel into is a jaguar. So, I get the look and the feel of a jaguar, and I, start to embody different qualities, because I've, recently been studying what jaguars look like, and while they're, necessarily exercise, but they are just being, they're just as they are, so witnessing that, and then applying those images, allowing myself to see like a jaguar in front of me or next to me while I'm doing my workout, that
Nice.
is, that's how I pair that image along with my routines. So
Yeah, that's fascinating. That was great. I'm very selfish. I look to get the most out of these kinds of shows, and I want new perspectives. You're all listening to the same teacher. It's actually a way that I hold my position is how do I know more than everybody in IMC Nation? I make it my job to do that. I make it like it was life or death, like that. That's what it is. And I'm proud of it. And that's what I go for. If anybody shows up, then I would do this with them. I pick their brain. I'm the guy that like, gradually absorbs all the powers of everybody else, by talking with you. And the more communication I can be in with everybody, the more my day is filled with this sort of stuff,
Makes sense.
Andrew Ratterman just texted me just now because he's been out of the program. I keep messaging him. He just replied, and boom. So I'm going to get some power from that too. And, so that's really powerful. So yeah, go ahead.
I was just say I miss that guy around. I miss seeing him around at least.
Yeah. So, he's actually he went to school in New Mexico. Trent, you like that one? You like that reaction? That's how that's a reaction on many layers.
Right.
So, well, really cool. What do you think about this? So, what should people know? Well, man, I could go on so many different directions with you, Jordan. We could just go forever. So what do you think about this topic of words as wards?
Can you explain what you mean exactly by words?
Well, okay. Well, what do you, let me just take a step back, make it more practical. What do you think about, how have you applied communication? Maybe this is kind of off topic, actually. Maybe I'm getting off of what you were just talking. I want to go more into animal totems because you keep the animal next to you, or you imagine it with you while you're beasting.
Right.
And this gives you a sort of the animal spirit that you tap into.
Yeah.
And then that's really, really interesting. Does that, I want to,
I have more examples for that.
Yeah.
So, well, not necessarily particular to beasting, but where I was familiar with it in particular before was martial arts. So there's certain types of kicks that we do. There's cheetah kicks, there's dragon kicks, there's tiger kicks. So
I didn't know.
Yeah, paralleling that same type of image, in martial arts early on was it was kind of easier for me to kind of grasp onto that idea of having an animal totem or animal spirit next to me or with me, and then embodying that more so. So before, just in martial arts, it was just through like kicks or certain movements and certain forms and whatnot that there's certain forms that model after a I believe it's a crane. There's different ones that model after praying mantises, different martial arts styles and whatnot like that. So I like that aspect of martial arts, or that's where I can parallel it now from, beasting in correlation to martial arts.
Well, where do you see yourself going with your martial arts?
Yeah, great question, because I was just thinking this. I see it, I've been contemplating how I can truly contribute to IMC Nation on a bigger scale. I've seen, you know, of course, your contribution with, you know, all that you do, of course, you know, behind the back office stuff, but also with yoga. I mean, the yoga practice was, you know, I believe your go-to. That was your diamond that you found that you were able to contribute. And then so I've seen Joey as well, Joey Lundgren, who's the Green Dragon, and he has his own practice as well. So for me, I wanted to bring a different aspect of martial arts to that picture as well. So I see it evolving into being a part of what we're doing with IMC Nation, whether it be in base 1 or, you know, base 2 or whatever base I end up in, but that's part of the plan. And then I want to start to develop that practice even more. So I actually recently just started looking into qigong, and qigong is a different type of energy practice and martial arts practice, but something that I'm definitely interested in. You still? Oh, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. And look frozen for a second. Yeah. So qigong and the energy practice, I want to combine that with the martial arts practice I already have, which is Tang Soo Do, which is a Korean karate. So I want to combine those two, and you know, and almost invent like a new way of martial arts, but just essentially applying it to the beast process. I want to see how that could add value to that. So that's where I see it potentially.
Interesting. Well, it's definitely, you know, I infused what I learned from Arash Bazar in my yoga, but I made it as a yogi. And then the quarantine afforded this opportunity to really go full time with filling boot camps and events with Arash Bazar. And then, you know, by no small part from me, I put forth most of the energy to make the based one happen. You know, I ended up finding the right house, even though Sultan did a lot of looking. I found the one. And I've done a lot of searching. Cortez had done a lot of searching. Everybody was kind of waiting on me. It actually, at the end, Arash bowed out. He's like, I don't want to do it anymore. And then to everybody else, I mean, I was like, well, fuck you. I'm still going to get you to do this. And so I was like, shh, everybody, I'm going to try to get Arash to do this again. So then I cornered him basically, where I had Cortez and Johnny or somebody was around, and I told him, I was like, we were at the martial arts center. We just finished martial arts class. He was waiting for like the kids class to start. And I was like, oh, Sultan and Cortez. And I was like, we're going to go look at a house. And he was like, a 4-bedroom? I was like, a 5-bedroom. He's like, a 5-bedroom. And I was like, yeah, because I was actually going to find a really good one. And then I was going to seduce you into wanting to do it again with us. And so he ended up doing it. And, but it wasn't even that house. We ended up finding a different house. And, you know, the yoga actually, yeah, I could totally see, you know, what's up with base 2? I could see you starting a base 2. This is base 1, 408. I could see you starting a base 2. And it's interesting. I hadn't thought of it like how you said, where it's like you have a martial arts specialty and that could be an offering. If you guys haven't seen, let me show you. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it's appropriate. We'll go to ninthlimb.com. This is the new base 1 temple landing page that Zay has helped complete. San Jose Temple.
Very nice.
If you're on Instagram, you're missing it. You should be on Zoom so you can see it. So it's slow loading, I think, because we're streaming. So there's the temple. This should be clickable or something. I actually want to do some type of new regimen going into. Well, then send me a message and sign up for my program. I'll work with you custom. So about the Beast Camp, because we don't talk. About guest residency, so private message. There's a promo video Pyro made. Pyro's online right now. Here's a playlist of testimonies. So there's a lot of great testimonies there. I don't know why it's all, you know, digital messed up there. You know, the flyer, pay online or in person, no more payment plans. You know, it's like a lot of thousands of dollars are owed to AZD because of payment plans. Yep. And then some beast fit. Anyway, so that's the thing. Oh, Shamir is trying to come online. There he is. So that's the landing page. Anybody got any suggestions or whatever, but this is something you could share with people. Check it out, blah, blah, blah. Just let me know they came through you. You get 2 people to sign up. You can come free. So
nice.
There's that. So I can see you starting base 2 and, you know, like how I teach yoga out of here. I mean, I think it's a minor contribution. I teach 2 one-hour segments of, it's barely even yoga. I'm just showing you guys like physical therapy so far.
Yeah.
But it'll get better and better. I may even buy some yoga mats for everybody, or, maybe talk everybody into doing it indoors so that we can have a really quiet environment. Cause there's something about being in a super quiet space when you just breathe and all you hear is me talk and your own breath. And in an hour you can go, it's like a shamanistic journey without any drugs or whatever, that it's not through breath work or heavy breathing. It's just tuning into your breath.
Yeah.
So that would be a powerful experience, but I don't know how much, I do my part. I do what's asked of me is all, but I could totally see a base 2 that had your skill trade and people would love that. It'd be an attraction. Oh, I guess that's kind of what I wanted to show you. So I went to the website, and so about the Beast Camp. So I have 3-day event on the art of the beast with Arash Zapardibazar. Then it goes into wake up the beast, realize your advantages in the world, redefine spirituality, illuminate your animal totems we were just talking about, eliminate the trapped ways of thinking about relationships, money, lifestyle, nutrition, and family. Plus, and then here's the part that's like the Guardians here, beast fitness, game, mindful movement and energetic movement, boxing, and knowing your rights with cops. So those are like some of the extra sessions that we do at the Beast Camp. Your Beast Camp would be, qigong and Zukongdo karate or whatever it's called. And,
Right.
Tang
Sudo. Yeah.
Kung Judo. So it's cool. When is Beast 2 getting started? Where is it going to be?
Yeah. So
did I say Beast 2?
Actually, yeah, base 2. You can call it Beast 2. I like that name too.
Yeah.
So right now, me and Pyro actually have been in conversation. I think you said Pyro's on right now.
Yeah,
we've been in conversation about doing it out in San Jose, and or in the area in California in particular. Initially, the plan was to do it in Phoenix, but I know me and Michael Mornard, we have been in conversation about that, and that was the next plan for us. That was the step that we were going to take. But after conversating with Pyro, after his experience at the last boot camp, he was extremely excited about going back to San Jose. And I understand that pull. I understand that attraction. As to being around, just being around you guys, being around Base 1, and after being there and living there for multiple days, you just soak in all the energy that's there at Base 1. And how I see it is, every single day there's energy being invested at Base 1. So I want to continue to carry that on to Base 2 whenever that starts. But yeah, right now the plan is potentially San Jose, and so I don't know exactly when. Well, we're talking about next year, like January, at the latest. But we're trying to work out the details in particular. So how'd you start looking at places in San Jose, brother?
Well, it started early. I mean, when it started looking at places, it drug on, man. It really drug on because the quarantine, and the idea came around Christmas, and it was going to be in Los Angeles or Hollywood at first, or downtown LA. Yeah, and then quarantine hit around the end of February. And the plan was, because I had yoga events, through mid-March, and I was going to move. I think I was going to move to San Jose then in mid-March, and then just like get an Airbnb and just find a house while I live here. And the uncertainty around the quarantine, I just kept going back to Houston and just live in Houston and fly back and forth because Houston cost of living, whatever. I didn't know what was going to happen with the quarantine. Finally, around like May, I'm going through a breakup with a girl. It happened at like the beginning of June or something, or I think somewhere around there. And it was just, it made sense to just pick up and go then.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it differently. Because looking back on it, I wonder why I didn't sooner. And it was definitely because of the girl. Wow. Because why? Because I didn't want her to live with me. But I didn't have enough to pay for her to have a place, and then I have a place. So we were going to separate. So I literally did the Houston and flying thing to train this girl, and now she's completely descended into hell because you elevate a girl so much and then you can't keep her elevated, and then she just goes to hell, goes to shit.
Wow.
Of course I smoke weed. What are you talking about? Makes sense to me. Yeah, you got to join Gen X Silver. So, so I got here early June and we got the place mid-August. So it took 2.5 months.
So
when I moved
leading
out.
up to that,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off. Leading up to that, is it the you were staying in Airbnbs up and until then?
And here's also, I remember it had a lot to do with taxes. I thought I needed to finish my taxes to get the house. And I kept putting that off because I didn't want to finish my taxes. I was about to, and then the quarantine happened. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to do my taxes this year. But then I was like, I can't get into a house if I don't do my taxes. That's what Sultan tells me. Fernando says something else, and I don't know who to believe. So whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to, you know, originally Jordan Susi and Brian Casella was going to be in the house. It is, you know, a lot of communications needed. And, you know, you just kind of make that decision. And then when I was in Airbnbs. I stayed in Airbnb for 3 weeks, and then we did the boot camp, stayed in that Airbnb. Then I stayed in my own Airbnb for a month, and then did the next boot camp, stayed in an Airbnb, and then stayed in another Airbnb for a few weeks until we got the house, and then right into the house. So that's what that was. You know, and I was budgeting the whole time, like, you know, if I was going to spend $1,500 on a month to live here, that's how much I was figuring I could do with an Airbnb, or I should be able to. But it decreases, you know, my job like this, communicating with you guys, it decreases productivity to be, anyway, you get it. If you're sharing a space with people that are chumps, it just lowers the vibe. You know, the low vibe. We don't want that vibe. Right. So there's that. Well, we got a bunch of boot camp guys online. In fact, it's like all boot camp and BM. I don't know who BM is. Tony, Michael Moynard, Pyro. You're popular, Jordan, because none of these guys show up when I'm just doing it by myself. I tell you what, except Shamir sometimes. Actually, that's not true. Everybody does a little bit here and there. And we got a good audience on Instagram and Facebook too. So if you guys got any questions for Jordan, you know, basically this is an episode about animal totems and beasting out with an animal totem.
Yes, sir.
Or if you got questions about base 2 or comments, if you just want to comment. Jordan, you were there 2 boot camps ago. Yeah. Right. That was great, man. I'll bet you hella missed the last one.
Of course, really.
You
I was online, and it was just I knew it wasn't the same, because I know what it's like being there, and I know that everybody's on. Like, I forget that there were people online, you know, when you're there. So it's definitely a missed feeling. But staying at Residency, that was amazing as well. That was its own experience. It was actually a lot different in comparison to boot camp, I think. So.
Okay, would you go into that? What was the difference? Yeah. Because everybody should do Residency. Josiah, you're on right now. Arash said to me last night, he was like, Josiah, that guy needs to do Residency.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Residency and boot camp?
Yeah, Residency is just living. So it's not so much you're going to events. You know, boot camp is very structured. Boot camp has an order to it. You know, there's a plan. But the going to Residency is just living. It's just pure living and really finding your own tune to tap into, your own frequency while you're there, being able to you know, practice your own practice, and but being around all the guys it's different. You get to know the guys better. You know, it's the vibe. You know the vibe. So that's what it is. The vibe you get to soak up. And really, what I knew the difference was going to be in particular was me when I stayed the night there. I know I felt different, you know, sleeping there, and you know, I felt like I was able to soak up more of the energy there. You know, for me, that was my process. So.
What do you mean soak up more of the energy? Like, what is the energy you're soaking up?
It's peaceful. It's peaceful energy, but it's also powerful energy. It's you know, it's like you know, I know what happens when I beast out, when I work out and I train. I feel like I'm cleaning my karma. So I'm putting out energy that was, you know, potentially negative or so, and I'm transmuting that energy and utilizing that to, you know, add to the environment of wherever I'm at. Like being here in my, this is, you know, my cell. So I know it has a different vibe than even like the living room, you know, in particular, because, you know, I put out that same energy in here as well as, you know, while I was there in Beast Residency, or while I was there. So I think that's the energy that I felt that I was soaking up. It's very peaceful, but a very powerful and a deep energy that I felt like I was tapping into. Just laying on the ground, I just felt like it was richer. It was a richer energy for me. That's how I interpreted it. So.
Yeah, gives me more understanding of it too. I take it for granted, right? Because I'm in it. I actually got my own little house.
Yeah.
So I got my own little vibe here. Okay, so Josiah says, what animals do you identify with? You said a cougar, Black Panther, I think you said.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yeah. So the Black Panther is actually, what I found out is that the Black Panther is a mutation of the Jaguar.
Yeah.
That I did not know that before. So yeah, the Jaguar is one, and then also the Black Mamba is one that I identify with as well. It's actually in my logo for what I have this as a self code, which is my, you know, platform and my podcast as well. So yeah, the Black Mamba. What I like about the Black Mamba is that it's you know, similar to, I remember Ross gave, you know, Yogi Chris a superpower, and you know, I recognize that because I appreciate that the ability of a snake to but be so slick and to really I don't know. I guess I see it similar to a cobra in that respect, you know, where it mirrors whatever is in front of it and is able to connect with it.
Trent Lara is like smiling ear to ear here because he just pulls me aside in the kitchen last weekend. He's like, I don't know how you're going to take this, but I have to tell you, you look like a cobra to me.
That's awesome.
And then I didn't know how to take it. So I was like, oh, thanks, man. Right on. And then later I had to like run him down. I'm like, why did you say that? He's like, and then I'd get him to explain it. And
yeah,
I was looking at myself in the mirror because I got a new mirror in my house here. And I was looking
at
myself
see that. It's nice.
Thanks. Yeah. I was looking at myself and I was like, damn, I got like a kind of a snake head.
Nice.
I didn't realize I had kind of a snake head. Okay. So Black Mamba there. The snake and the jaguar.
The jaguar.
So Pyro or Jordan, what's your favorite part of your morning routine that you feel you tap into your totem the most?
Yeah, good question, brother. What part of my routine? So I section my routine off. You know, I have, of course, a you know, meditation when I wake up, and then I have the mirror ritual. And I actually, maybe the mirror ritual. I have a movement ritual, but also the mirror ritual is a an important piece of me tapping into the animal totem. So when I'm looking in the mirror, I'm also seeing, you know, different elements of myself that might mirror whatever animal it is that I am for that, you know, for that moment in that day. So I don't know if that answers the question, but what's your favorite part of the morning routine? Yeah. So maybe the mirror ritual, but also the definitely the movement ritual, something that I've been practicing recently. Like I said, I've been tapping into qigong a little bit and adding different elements of just what I've seen online so far, because you know, I'm not in the official practice of that just yet, but seeing how, you know, I'm implementing that into my whole movement, pairing that with martial arts, as well as, you know, different datums from, you know, tapping into the animal totem as well. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Shamir Khan, what kind of meditation are you doing in the AM?
Yeah, so about 15-minute type of meditation. What I do is, well, it depends actually. Sometimes I do a breathing type of meditation, and then other times I do just sitting and contemplating, kind of letting go of my thoughts and letting those play out, you know, and letting those be as they are, instead of trying to change them or trying to make them into something that that I want them to, you know, which is also another type of meditation I do. But doing that in particular, just letting go of my thoughts, or adding breathing. When I'm doing the breathing, there's no thinking, you know, just breathing in particular is just its own type of meditation. for me. So it's 15 minutes worth, and the actual the actual practice is 3 seconds in, 5 seconds breathing out. So that's the actual practice of that meditation in particular.
All right. Well, that's that. So anybody catching this podcast, if they've listened from the beginning to the end now, I mean, what are you guys doing? You should do something with Arash Bazaar. You should find a way. Contact me. If you need to talk with Jordan, then you could find him, Master Myself, but self is spelled CELLF, Master Myself. And that would be on Instagram. Of course, subscribe to this if you're catching it on any platform. And let's see, we got 9 people on. Wow.
That's nice.
You guys got, let's see, these are all Bootcamp guys. Trent came live. Tony's done a bunch online. Shamir's been live like 4 times in a row. Pyro, he just came live, did online like 6 or 7 times. Michael Menard was a messenger also. Josiah was a messenger too, and he just came live from Hawaii.
Nice.
Not sure who you are. And then Jordan. Cool. All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks for showing up. We could just keep talking forever and ever, but I want to respect your time. If you liked this episode and you're catching it online, you could also share it, and look forward to your DMs. Os,
brother. Salute.